Alright, what's up guys, it's Heat. So I've been doing some races in Season 2. I've been taking Season 2 racing much more seriously. I've been practicing as well and actually being pretty competitive about it. I've been placing fairly well. I've won 4 demis, 3 with a Duelist, 1 with a Ranger. I place top 10 fairly frequently overall. And if I'm not, then I'm usually dying. So because of this, I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about 3 Duelist builds that I use, and maybe you guys can take some insight from it. So one is, this first build is within a 1-hour race or a 90-minute race. This is what you would want to use at first. So the first thing I do, some people like to actually come down this right-hand path, but this life regeneration is kind of pointless early game. It doesn't scale well because you don't have a lot of health, so you're not really regenerating a lot of health. You can actually come down this way if you feel that you can't handle not having the life. But if you can and you play a little bit more safe, I highly recommend coming through the left side of this tree, because you'll increase your DPS and actually be able to play much faster. Now when I get to Master of Arena, I go, I take life, and depending on what my weapon is and how I'm doing with gear and what my currency is, I either go to mana and immediately to acceleration, or if my gear isn't as good, I'll just take life and then make my way to acceleration. After acceleration, I take this increased attack speed, then I work my way down through these passives and grab the axe passives. So in a short race, you generally want to take the axe passives. You can come down through here. However, you're picking up a lot of health, which you probably don't need, and so you're wasting your DPS on health. However, I mean, you could come down here and pick up Berserking and try to make your way up the tree, the sword passives. But then again, you'll probably, in my opinion, be much better off just picking up the axe passives, because you don't really need that much health. You're either farming in a 90-minute or hour, you're either farming Western or Sins, and you do need some health for both of those areas, but really not that much. Alright, so another build that I use, this is for anything signature race or longer. So it all starts out the same, but when you come down here, you have to make a decision on whether you want to use swords or axes. Now, if you use swords, what you do is you come down and you pick up these health passives, and then I pick up Berserking and immediately make my way up the sword passives right here, which are very good. From this point on, depending on how many levels you're getting to, you can come to the right and pick up these sword passives, and there's Diamond Skin. So this build is actually really good, I think, for if you want to farm docks, because when you're farming docks, it's good to have a lot of damage mitigation, and one way to do that is to have a lot of health, and this particular build gives you more health because you come down here. So if you have a fairly good sword, or not even like a decent sword, you still might be able to farm docks, because you can also pick up Diamond Skin, which will help. So the other variation of a signature race and longer is, instead of using swords, you use axes. So everything looks the same, and at this point, instead of coming down to the swords, you go to the left and you pick up all the axe passives. So I went actually up here first because you get more DPS out of 6 passive skills than you do by coming down through here, at least from my calculation. So this one's really good if you have a really solid axe, but the problem with this one is that if you don't have a very good axe, it makes it difficult for you to farm docks if that's what you want to do. Typically, you don't need to farm docks in a signature race, but if your weapon is really good, then you want to, because it'll put you at an advantage. You can just get more experience than everybody else. but it just makes it harder because you don't have the health from these passes when you go with sword. So your axe has to be not only decent in my opinion, but very good. You won't be able to. It's really hard to one-shot things in docks. The least, you want a weapon that'll two-shot them, and you need a very good axe. If you go along this route, you don't need a very good sword. You can just get a decent sword and still be able to farm docks because of the health that you get from these three passes. So those are 3 builds that I use in different races. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment and I'll get to them. All right, thanks.